and I started this podcast because mentors are probably one of the most.
That's life-changing. They're absolutely life-changing.
There you go. That's a great. Thank you so much for that nugget. They are so. You can't put a value on them. And we're live today at XTREME BOTS competition, actually a national competition here in Springfield, Ohio. And we're here in this competition, and it's actually quite exciting. I'm here with my new friend. His name is Eddie. And Eddie, what's your last name?
Phelan Vidal.
Phelan Vidal?
Phelan Vidal.
Phelan Vidal. No, that's okay. Well, welcome, man. Thanks for spending time and sharing, right?
Yeah.
And so this competition is all about, right, promoting structural engineering, mechanical engineering, manufacturing in the trades, and, everything computer, everything put stuff together.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting event. So I'm here today to basically, get some insights from, you participated. So why don't you tell me just a little bit about where you're from, what school you go to, or went to, and about your experiences with BattleBots and programs like this.
All right. Well, I was the president for 2 years of the Fox Chapel area.
Yeah, you can bring the microphone even closer. Yeah, that's bring it closer. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Loud.
Yeah.
I was the president for 2 years of the Fox Chapel area high school robotics team.
Okay.
I participated for 3 years as the lead designer for the club.
Nice.
So the sort of the ethos, or not ethos, but the main strategy behind how the robots functioned, how they were built, what we really put into making them functional was sort of my idea, inspired from me, which was really fun.
Nice. And again, so what was your what was the elementary school, and where's that at? What your
high school?
Where's the high school that you started? Is that where you got your biggest interest?
Yeah, I started in the actual robotics class for the high school, and from there it sort of just catapulted into being part of the club.
Nice.
The club, because of the pandemic,
yes,
didn't exist until the year I joined it. So we were starting from scratch and kind of having a renewed interest in the club, in the school.
Yeah,
so
nice.
Really fun.
Get you out and get your hands on you. So I'm imagining you like to work with your hands.
Definitely.
And you like to figure things out.
For sure.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, man. I always, as a kid, I was always excited about a new piece of anything, electronic or whatever. And I always have not much patience to read all the details of manuals. And it's both. It's both a hindrance and an adventure discovery of making blatant mistakes.
Yeah.
So you can actually go learn blatant lessons.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's I'm a little bit ornery like that. Yeah. So now when you're in high school, where you go next with this the involvement? To what level?
I am going to take it to college.
Yeah.
There's a combat robotics team at my college.
Nice.
And I'm definitely going to participate in that for sure. And I'm going to be taking the skills I got from just leading the club, learning how to design, learning how to design for manufacturing, learning how to prototype, and all the skills that I had to put together to build a robot are definitely super helpful for me in college. I want to go into mechanical engineering, and I learned a ton of the foundations of the curriculum and of just sort of the core structure behind that field through robotics. And
Nice.
Yeah, college would be amazing.
That's Mr. Steve Staub, one of the head volunteers organizing this whole XTREME BOTS here in the Dayton area, along with my older brother, Gary Jankowski.
Awesome.
And just to remind you, Eddie, my name is Greg Jankowski. This is the Imagine Fitting In podcast, all about mentors, healthy lives, and community. And I'm pretty confident that you have experienced many mentors along the way here in this field. And I'm sure you'll be looking forward to others which will help propel your career. And obviously, you seem like a very sharp, focused guy that has some intention. And then it just takes a right plan. And I think the best things one of the 2 P's I mentioned, prioritize and patience.
Passion, I think.
Passion, yeah. That's 3. Prioritize, patience, and passion.
Yes.
And I think those are, kind of cover the bases. So you kind of take care of yourself with the passion. You prioritize right task at hand, all tasks. And then, what's the last third one we had?
Patience.
Patience, right? Patience in the process. Because to all good things, how's that? It was just saying,
Good things come to those who wait.
Yes, right. Thank you very much, Eddie. So tell me just describe one of your competitions and what it was like. Give me a great highlight for me.
Highlight, or what do you mean by highlight?
Like a highlight of competition.
Something we did to succeed.
Yeah, like a particular competition that was like, oh my gosh, that was awesome.
Well, I'd have to go with our 3rd competition in that, our 3rd year of fighting, when I had my penultimate robot, Blackbird.
Okay.
Which was sort of the culmination of just 2 prior years of design experience and improvement into a final weapon robot that I took to competition.
Ooh, nice.
We didn't do too well at the regional competition because our driver was brand new and didn't really know how to control the robot or work with the design ethos that I had put into it.
Oh.
He was essentially, the robot I designed was a multi-tool, and he saw it as a hammer, so he was using it with one intent, just drive straight at the opponent, when he wasn't really utilizing the full breadth of its capability.
Oh, okay.
Kind of shooting himself in the foot there.
So that's a big lesson learned in terms of like time management and strategy and make people be right. Like prepping people and making sure. Yeah. So good lesson learned, right?
Yeah. And then we moved on to nationals, which is where the robot really shone.
Okay.
He learned how to drive it. He figured out how to use it in the ring to the best of its ability.
Nice.
And we were pretty much completely untouchable for the entire competition.
Really?
Yes.
So what was that name of your you call it the Blackbird?
Blackbird, yes.
Okay, and tell me, just describe again what was its offensive capabilities?
I usually describe Blackbird as a wedge bot with a weapon for persuasion. It is essentially, the first robot I ever built was a wedge bot. And then when I built an adaptation of that, it was a wedge bot with a weapon on top.
Yeah.
But I kept the same mentality that I had with the wedge bot, which is this robot is primarily for control.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste weight or power into just making a really, really big weapon at the expense of rigidity or just strength of the robot or speed.
Yes.
Because a lot of these robots you'll see, like if you're watching the fight right now, it's a big, big spinning disc, and they can only really move in straight lines. They can't turn. They have a ton of maneuverability issues.
Yeah.
So for me, I decided I want to be able to put my robot anywhere in the arena at any time. It needs to be super maneuverable. It has to have 0 drive issues. So making the weapon smaller and being able to control it was sort of the main
focus.
Yeah, the focus.
So the mobility of the the quickness.
So because we couldn't do as much damage with our own robot,
yes,
we focused on doing what a wedge bot does and getting them to damage themselves.
Oh, that's pretty genius.
One of my favorite matches from Blackbird's last competition was we were fighting against a team that we had fought against 3 times already, Bedford. Bedford's one of the best teams at the competition. We tossed the robot around. They're the design I was describing. Big weapon, barely any maneuverability, and we drove circles around them. We were chucking them around the arena, and then we won the match by catching them off guard in their rear left corner and chucked them weapon first into the wall so hard they shattered the polycarbonate and went flying backwards across the arena.
Whoa, so their weapon.
They destroyed themselves.
Right. Okay, so you know what that reminds me of? I believe that is the art of judo.
I believe it was a judo robot.
Right? It's like, you take your opponent's offense and turn it on. Use that energy to propel and intensify both your defense and your potential offense.
That's
awesome.
Main design every robot I've built. Even the wedge bot was designed. It had a weapon, or had its wedge at a particular angle to reflect the force from incoming weapons to send them flying backwards, and it worked. And I was just like, why don't I put a weapon that does exactly the same thing and just make it better and better?
Yeah, there you go, man. There you go. So like, learn those lessons. It sounds like an awesome design. So listen, what kind of advice would you give? So how old were you when you started, when you first got interested with this?
Talking with some of the other people here, I was pretty old. I was about 15, I think, when I started.
Okay. And so what advice would you give 15, 16, even, 13, 14-year-olds that, based on your experience, what advice would you give them? Like, what do they need to prepare for early when they're just first discovering? What do you think?
I have to think on this one. There's a lot I want to say, because I have a lot of experience.
Okay, what do you think of the top 3 things, if you have a lot of them, or even top 2?
I would say perseverance is a big part of it.
Okay.
I know kids who have had amazing ideas or just drive and passion who have come in to do something, but then just stopped when it got too hard.
Got it.
I never let myself do that. I said, if there's a problem, I'm going to find a way around it so that I can succeed no matter what happens. And a lot of kids just don't have that drive. But that's really something that comes down to personal passion versus like just who they are, or like intellect or anything along those lines. So that's something I can't really change.
Yeah.
But something I can change is just, or not change, but something I can actually recommend them to change on a let's say like educational level.
Yeah.
Is how much they think about what they're doing. When I was working on my robot and I had to make a change to the design, I would think, and I'd sit down and I'd take the time. I know there's so much rush, there's so much, we have to get this done immediately, we need to get this part out, we need to push to the finish line. But anytime I made a change, I'd sit back and I'd think, what does this do? What changes does this have rippling out throughout the rest of the design? How will this hold up in battle? How will this hold up in the pits when we need to repair it? How will this change manufacturing? And taking the time to step back and look at it from a whole lens actually made the process faster, because I didn't have to go back and make changes. Yeah. So
that's great.
That's a big thing I learned. Oh, wait, I'm forgetting.
Okay.
The biggest thing I learned.
Okay, that's good. No, don't discount that last one. That one is excellent. Okay, next one.
The biggest one I learned. Keep it simple, especially with this.
Okay.
And I've seen throughout a lot of other aspects of my life the benefit of, and everybody says this, keep it simple, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Even, and like a lot of people discard it as, well, no, this is too complex, I have to work with it. I found that, especially in this sport, if you're trying something over the top, if you're trying something that's super complicated, it is not going to work out. It is going to get blown to pieces in the ring, and then you're going to have to spend ages repairing it. And it's sort of like that with real life, I figured. If you just overcomplicate, overthink your plans, your intentions, it just ends up falling to pieces.
Okay.
So,
but man, those are like great tips of advice, and for you to because obviously you're carrying those memories and those strategies and those lessons forward. So again, the purpose of my podcast, it's available on Apple, Spotify, and you can find me on my YouTube channel. And I'm always looking for new subscribers and follow, liking, all that. And again, Eddie, I'm going to throw out to you again, and we'll exchange information. You can contact me via my YouTube channel. Become a subscriber. You can reach out to me, and I'm always looking for guests. If you have mentors in your past, right, people that are maybe interested in sharing their story of involved in your, the community that you're in and the competitions, because there's all kinds of organizations and efforts across the country, and XTREMESTEM.org is all about spreading the love and getting across the country and engaging lives like you. And really cool. So I want to thank you very much for stopping in to share your story. Thank you. Man, have a great day. And your team is here? Yes. Okay. And what's your name of your team? My team's name is Fox Chapel Area Robotics, I think. Nice. Okay. They changed it a little bit. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll shout out for them and hope they do good and make it to the final rounds and stuff. Yeah. All right. So again, pleasure, Eddie, and take care. And we'll see. Hopefully we'll talk to you next time. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Yep. And we're back with Imagine Fitting In podcast on site. First mobile podcast for my experience, so I'm learning a lot. And I'm here at the XTREME BOTS National Championships, the BattleBots. It's for extreme.org, XTREMESTEM.org. And they have a division called XTREME BOTS, and we're here at the national, actually international competition this year because there are schools from Canada. So officially, we are humbled to be in an international competition. So that's pretty cool. So I'm here with my second guest for today on May 10th, 2025, and I'm with a Mr.
Taylor.
Okay, bring that microphone closer. Yeah, really closer. Yeah.
Perfect.
And go ahead and tell me. Yeah, go ahead and tell me. What's your name?
Taylor.
Kieran Taylor. And where do you live?
Huber Heights, Ohio.
Huber Heights, Ohio. Okay. And are you're in school right now?
Yes, I am.
How old are you, Kieran?
16.
Okay, 16. And so, what are your interests? And I kind of like encourage people to come over and share their stories. Tell me a little bit about like. What do you mentor? And you mentioned mentors to me. Like, what excites you? What is you're into right these days?
What my biggest thing is computers.
Okay.
The advancement of technology, and I'm more software, like the coding behind all of it.
Nice.
That makes the games work, how this current setup works.
Okay. Nice.
And that's been my biggest focus. That's currently where I'm at MVCTC for.
Okay. And what does that stand for?
Miami Valley Career Technology Center.
Okay, nice. So you're here in tech.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can relate to obviously STEM.
Yep.
Right? And every so often I'm just going to look at my camera.
Perfect.
So tell me, like, you're here. What brought you to the XTREME STEM.org National Championships today?
What brought me here was, for one, I love seeing these fights. They're always interesting to see because that's where I kind of started. Was like I wanted to be hands-on and build things.
Yep.
But then I kind of drifted away from it.
Okay.
But like at least I can still see people do it.
Yes.
And that CTC sometimes like we might get experience with like coding their robots a little bit.
Yes.
So that's always been fun to do.
It's all interconnected.
It's all interconnected.
Exactly. So there's all these elements of things that sometimes we forget on even the most simplest things that we condition to make our lives easy.
Yes.
That there was a problem and there was a solution made, and multiple people and areas of like making it work. And then it's interesting to break it all down, right?
Yes, because everybody thinks this is one huge, big project, but there's a lot behind the scenes. There's a lot still going on.
Right.
Like these teams, we get to see them build, fix their robots.
Yeah.
But what took, like behind the scenes when they were at their schools, their homes, wherever they built these.
Yeah.
How much time it took, how many times they tested them.
Yeah.
Like how to destroy things, put them back together.
Uh-huh.
That's behind the scenes. We don't get to see that.
Right.
So these behind the scene things are what makes it special.
Nice. So let me ask you. So you live in Huber Heights, and you're going to you're heavily into tech and computers.
Yes.
They're just over there right now. It's like they're sweeping up a last bottle, battle. Excuse me. Yeah, BattleBots. So tell me. Do you have a mentor story? Like, is somebody mentoring you now on anything? Wow. Just a little break here. Another great episode. I hope you are enjoying Imagine Fitting In podcast. And just a reminder here, please remember to hit the subscribe button because we love to feel you a part of our Imagine Fitting In family. And if you want to become a brand ambassador, we'd love it if you would share this link on social media, through your email, all your friends. You can help with us with donations, any small donation, big or large, whatever you can manage to help encourage us and support our efforts here. And you'll find that link in the show notes. And finally, again, a reminder, please refer guests to us. You can find me and contact me at thebalanceprofessor@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. All right. So I hope you continue enjoying Imagine Fitting In. All right. Till next time.
Melissa Goodall.
Okay, Melissa Goodall. Shout out to Melissa.
Yeah, she is a amazing teacher.
Yeah.
We work with NASA. She's gone to NASA 7 times now. She's like every
Amazing.
year her team is not lost once.
So she's got stories.
She's got stories.
Right.
And she teaches at Sinclair at the same time while she's teaching us
Nice. Now, what does she teach at Sinclair?
computer tech. So
Okay. And again, what's her name again?
Melissa Goodall.
Melissa Goodall. All right. So that's great. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough for Sinclair.
Mhm.
I'm actually a certified drone pilot, and I went through the Sinclair's UAS program, which is probably top in the country. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm myself. I'll just remind listeners. My name is Greg Jankowski, and this is the Imagine Fitting In podcast, all about mentors, healthy lives, and community. And so, my essence, I'm an artist, but my passion is fitness. So I'm a sports performance specialist, and I do a lot of injury prevention, and work with everybody from high-end athletes to try to keep them from getting injured, and getting them back after they're injured, getting them back.
I wish I had you before I damaged my sciatic.
Healthy and gameplay, right? So it's like, any true athlete worth his salt or her salt is just destined or determined to get back on the field, right? A field of play. And so, so that's what I do. And, this is all about getting great stories, mentoring stories, and learn more about, how people have been affected and positive. So what's the biggest positive thing so far that you have experienced? Have any highlights of like your, what are you into currently?
As in,
Like you're going to school?
mhm.
And what kind of projects are you working on?
We're working in first year, junior year is like base coding. So you have your C++,
Whoa, okay.
working with C++, beginning it, learning it, and then you get halfway through the year, then you start kind of splitting off. So now I'm currently in Python and CCP, or College Credit Plus C++, which is a little more advanced than what the base people are learning.
Yeah.
And then we take it to our senior year. You're working on a NASA project the whole year.
Oh, wow.
And then you get to work with JavaScript, HTMLs.
Okay.
And you start diving a lot further into it.
Okay, cool. And so, how old are you?
16.
16. And what? When did you get when did you get so interested in what you're doing right now? Like, did you have a moment when you were how old? Do you remember how old were you when you had a moment like, oh man, this is cool. I want to maybe do more of this.
I had to be like a little kid because my biggest dream was always being in an army and working on the planes, or coding it and making sure they're up to date, make sure they can function properly without it just
behind the scenes support, right? Okay, because we know so much, right? Electronics and computers are steering everything, right?
And then from when I went to Wayne, we had a Project Lead the Way, Intro to Engineering. And that's why we started working with Autodesk Inventor, building parts, 3D models, and I love that. But there's a project that came around where we had to make a marble race, or marble sorter. And my friend Julian, he's always been the hands-on one, so I let him do that.
Yeah.
So you see him building that behind the scenes, though I'm still coding it. So when at the light amount, there's a red marble, if the light density is this much, sort it this way.
Yeah.
This blue one, the light density this way. Sort it this way.
So you're just you on point troubleshooting.
Yep.
Right, being able to prevent. Right, prevent issues or adjust accordingly.
Yes.
All right. So let me ask you, what is the what advice would you give to someone your age or just a little bit younger that has been thinking about I love computers, I like technology, I like gaming, whatever. So what can you give any advice or share any kind of from just your experience?
From my experience, I would have to say, figure out what you love first.
Passion.
You have to have the passion for it, and don't say you're going to focus on that one goal. Because I've jumped from spot to spot. You're not going to be set on one goal.
Be open.
Be open for it.
Yeah.
Because there's things that you might do, and you might say you love it even more.
That's a great nugget. So thank you for that.
Because you'll be like I said, I wanted to do hands-on engineering. I'm I love coding so much more.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna actually go farther into this.
Do you know what that's like? Do you know when you see the horses, the old time the horses, and they're like in the carts, and they'll have the horses and they'll have these things on their sides,
Yep.
right? And that's designed to not let the horses see too much and be spooked or distracted by their mission of just walking. And that's a great analogy for what you just said, that nugget you gave us, right? Let's not make sure you're not wearing those blinders on your sides and being so focused on just one thing. You have to have your eyes wide open, right?
Yes.
And be open to your peripheral vision, right? Stuff that's happening, because you can discover other opportunities.
Discover as many opportunities as you can.
Right.
Try to get some experience behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Honestly, we have technology, so you can go online, look up a video, or some online website that's been posted by a college or a professional.
Yeah.
They'll give you all the information you need to do so.
Right. Well, that's awesome, dude. I want to thank you for stopping by. And again, let's do a quick shout out to your school. What?
Miami Valley Career Technology Center.
Okay. And the other shout out is your mentor teacher,
Melissa Goodall.
And this for the listeners. State for your full name, nice and full.
Kieran Taylor.
Kieran Taylor from Uber Heights. Kieran Taylor, thank you so much for stopping in, and enjoy the rest of the day.
You too.
And be sure to what we call spread the love.
Yes.
And you're never too young to be a mentor.
I am.
To a young life, and you're never too old to be mentored.
You are not.
All right, so pass it forward.
I will. To
All
my
right.
younger siblings, family.
Yeah.
My
Excellent.
friends that are currently building the robots over there. Help
Nice.
them out.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much. All right. You have a good day.
You too.
Okay. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. And we're again live at Imagine Fitting In with my third guest. We're on site, the first mobile recording of Imagine Fitting In podcast, all about mentors, healthy lives, and community. And we're here on site in Springfield on May 10th, 2025, for not the nationals, but the international competition hosted by the XTREME STEM.org. And today we have a very focused competition here with the XTREME BOTS. I'm sure everybody's seen XTREME BOTS in their day on TV late night, and them going at it, and a lot of chaos. And sometimes you'll hear a little bit of chaos in this background recording because we're here right in the midst of it. And today here, I am live with
Troy Gibson.
Well, Troy Gibson, welcome to Imagine Fitting In. And I'm looking to get some insights about how XTREMESTEM.org has possibly already helped you in your awareness of the STEM fields, and how you integrate that in your communities, and or hopefully we can get you excited about understanding there's a lot of resources for XTREMESTEM.org for schools and people around the country. So tell me, Troy, what has your involvement directly been? Where are you from first? Where are you from?
I'm from O'Fallon, Missouri.
O'Fallon, Missouri. And so, what is your current participation with robotics? I think you mentioned your daughter, and your daughter's name?
My daughter's name is Abby Gibson, and we started STEM with first the little robots, the Gidget robots.
Yeah.
And then we progressed to the Lego robots.
Okay.
My daughter was in Girl Scouts, so we did that, and when she went into high school, we progressed into the bigger bots, what we're doing now.
Yes, the 15-pounders.
Yeah. And it's helped her out because she is a high-functioning autistic child.
Okay.
And she has problems with social cues with people.
Sure.
And not having friends and stuff like that.
Yes.
And she has a lot of camaraderie with friends, and it's helped her out tremendously.
And let me tell you something. So, the three most important things, which I'm going to iterate here a little bit and include something. The three most important things for the 21st century is the ability, the three C's: critical thinking, problem solving, communication, and collaboration.
Yeah.
So when we have those three C's, And I can understand that, having levels, there's various degrees of autism, right?
Yeah.
And we need to educate our communities around us that they are various degrees of being affected.
Yeah.
And so levels of, in terms of even on level of just communication, talking, and then we can obviously imagine all the variables and like the challenges, as you mentioned with your daughter.
Yeah.
And in terms of moving forward and being societal and communicating and be comfortable and interacting, and that's where that collaboration and getting comfortable communicating.
Yeah.
So what I want to just mention is that it's a great nugget message, and Imagine Fitting is all about creating nuggets for individuals to make awareness. So thank you for pointing out about autism.
Yes.
I have been doing much research on that myself.
And
I
want
tell
to
me,
I want that to get it out to the community,
Sure.
because I'm one of the parents didn't know about it,
yes,
and it was hard. And I started getting her involved in a lot of stuff.
yeah,
And with autism, you have to get these kids involved in the STEM projects.
right,
because
hands-on.
Hands-on. They learned how to communicate, and it's you can spend millions and millions of dollars, but just STEM itself
Yeah,
helps autism. And I'm trying to get teachers to
Yeah,
realize
yeah.
that
So
in
I-
school districts.
yeah. So I think one of the things that you're kind of highlighting is that the mechanics.
Yeah.
Okay, because extremestem.org's message is all about promoting careers in manufacturing, mechanical engineering, all types of engineering, and the fact that when we put things together, you got to have an idea, you have the elements, and I'm sure you can let me know if you agree with this, that I'm sure that your daughter can see, like, okay, there's this vision, there's this project, and this is how I can contribute.
Yeah.
And so that gives her value. And then she talks about her contributions with her other fellow people that are involved, and they work as a team. And that's a great dynamic for her.
And her learning, she learns how to work a CNC machine.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
And it's like she's telling me all this stuff, and I'm just sitting there because I didn't know how to communicate with her.
Yes.
And this is the way I can communicate with her.
Exactly.
And
Project per project, right? Almost.
Yeah. And her last competition, I could have been. They came in first place, and she won. I got my first hug in my entire life from her.
Oh my gosh.
That was worth weight in gold.
Oh my gosh, Troy, that's a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing.
A grown man crying.
Oh my gosh.
And I was crying. I was telling the coach thank you and everything.
Yeah.
Because it really touched me that much.
Yeah.
Because with people who are suffering with autism, sometimes they don't like human touch, or hugs or anything, because I would have to literally go over there and hug her.
Probably like they're hypersensitive to everything until they get comfortable.
Yeah. She's hypersensitive to. She don't eat processed deli meat and all that stuff.
Okay.
She's something about texture. She does not like texture.
Hey, listen, she's a wise young woman.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you on that. PC, let me tell you something. So my background, my name's Greg Jankowski.
Yeah.
I'm here today through my older brother is a big 10-year contributing volunteer heading up this whole XTREME BOTS and all these competitions in Dayton and promoting it in all the schools and stuff. So it's an ongoing thing, mentoring and promoting the mechanical engineering. But my personal background is I describe myself as my passion, my essence, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And my passion is fitness. So my moniker, if you go to thebalanceprofessor.com, that's my fitness world.
Oh, okay.
And my podcast is all about mentors, healthy lives, and community.
Yeah.
And you're sharing a story about your community, your individual experience about how you're nurturing healthy lives, and you're also making the huge discovery. So thank you again for the nuggets of offering up your example of with your story with your daughter, because that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And it's a great autism message. And I get back to why I started my podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
I started this podcast and dedicated to my late nephew, just a young 19 years old.
Oh, okay.
Who we lost to opioid addiction.
Oh.
And you know,
we had a good friend die of overdose.
Yeah.
And
it's
we know how it is, poor brother.
So
it's rough.
Yeah. So this podcast is dedicated in his memory.
Cool.
You know, there's a lot of vibrant young souls out there.
Oh, there is.
That I'm looking.
Just these teams out here, just looking at these kids build. You can't even imagine the way they built these bots.
Yeah.
It's just tremendous.
The teamwork, the execution, the community, and the right.
Because I work in a field the same. We do robots on a different scale, a bigger scale.
Sure.
And I do mechanical stuff. And what these kids know, they can almost do it at my job.
Yeah, sure. Like, right, because technology, technology moves so fast, and that it's so like, what do you call it?
So rapid.
Yes, exactly. It's awesome. So, you know, and again, you know, my big message about Imagine Fitting In is about mentors. Yeah. And, you know, I'm sure you had mentors in your life.
Yes, I did.
That moved you forward, right?
I had a teacher in high school. I had problems with, you know, behavior issues.
Yes.
And not,
hey, you're not alone.
And I had a teacher just say, "Hey, what are you going to do with your life?"
Do you remember that teacher's name?
Hey, Miss Eden.
Okay, from what school?
She was in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I can't remember the school's name.
Okay, Miss Eden.
She's always told me, there was always teachers saying, "You can't do this," and she would always tell me, "You can do whatever you want to if you put your mind to it."
There you go. Great nugget. Thank you.
And I'm like, everybody was telling me, "Oh, you're not going to go into the electrical field. You're not going to go into electrical." Guess what? I'm an electrician.
There you go.
And I do mechanical and electrical both.
Awesome. So please share. There's lots of action going on here, as we hear in the background.
Yeah.
So share your daughter's name again.
Abigail Gibson.
Abigail Gibson. And what is the name of her team?
Her Fort Zumwalt West.
What's it called?
Fort Zumwalt West.
Okay, and they're from what school?
That's their school.
Oh, should I say it one more time?
Fort Zumwalt West School.
Okay, nice. And
it is Dino and Supernova.
Okay, what's Dino and Supernova? What is that?
That's the robots' names.
Okay, nice. They've got two. They have two entries.
They have two entries.
Nice. So listen, I'm gonna wish them luck and have all the best today in competition, and continue to enjoy the day here. This sponsored event by XTREME STEM.org. And is there any final thoughts that you would like to share with parents in terms of how important it is to not only listen but to consider STEM as a field of endeavor?
What I have for all the autism children, the high functioning autistic children out there is hope for you.
Nice.
STEM is the way to go. Get them involved in robotics and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help them find their niche. They have a niche.
Exactly.
My daughter at 5 years old, I knew her niche was because she would help me put her sister's crib together.
Nice.
And it turned into a toddler bed. So she was picking up the screws and stuff. She would do puzzles, like 15, piece puzzles. 50-piece puzzles, and it just gradually went to 100.
Wow.
And it just
nice.
It was. I knew she had a knack for something.
Right.
And I started.
You start somewhere, right?
Started somewhere and just
you build on it.
And I was always having problems with, in school with her at a young age. They would say she was always crying in the corner. It's people don't know how to deal with it.
Yes,
spending out all this money, these
Yeah.
You know, a specialist in that, and there's nothing wrong with her. And,
Right.
And it's like, but she's doing this,
Right.
and I'm wanting to tell my story. So
Yeah.
there's parents that have that problem.
Yeah.
If they're crying in the corner, yes, they have autism, and they have problems with interacting with other kids. That is a portion of autism.
Yeah.
And to help you deal with that is to interact with them and see what their niche is and get them involved in stuff.
Okay, and I think a final good message there is, I think what I hear you saying is that, you know, just get more hands-on, consistent, and you know, they will persevere if they can grab onto something they're passionate about, and have, you know, obviously try to recognize that passion and what lights them up, lights their eyes up.
And don't give up.
Okay.
There's people out there. Just go on to autism and stuff. They'll help you. There's a community out there.
Okay. I'm just going to end up this little segment, and then we have to do a shout out to, we encourage people to both Google XTREMESTEM.org for your local, in your local communities. It's a national organization. You can get involved, and it doesn't take that much money. It does take certain amounts of donations to bring it to schools, and we encourage parents to get involved and be a part of that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't do a shout out to, we encourage people to, you know, just Google autism, your resources in your communities, because we have some major talented people that are completely capable and ready to contribute away. So shout out to all people in working on autism. So, all right, Troy, thank you so much for your time. And it was a pleasure. All right.
It was a pleasure too.
Yep. Pleasure meeting you. Okay.
Night.
Till next. Bye.
Bye.
And we are here live again at Imagine Fitting In podcast. And we're at the National Extreme Bots competition, which obviously listeners you know by now. This is my fourth guest that's sitting down. I'm going to share some of his experiences in the STEM program. And obviously we're in this big national competition for extreme bots here in Springfield on May 10th and 2025. And we're looking to get inspiration, insights from experiences, how it's benefited our guests, young and old, contributions, mentors, being mentored, and healthy Imagine Fitting In podcast is all about mentors, healthy lives, and community. And I'm excited to be here. And again, this is my fourth guest, and his name is Caden. Welcome, Caden.
Yeah, thank you.
You're okay. So why don't let's start and so how did you find out about this competition and this organization?
Yeah. So my dad teaches at Springboro High School, and he had gotten in contact with a teacher over at Centerville High School because he's seen in a newspaper article this Extreme Bots competition.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to find a way of starting it, and so he had gotten in contact with someone called Dan Stacy, and he hooked him up, told him where to go, and we got into some connections with some local companies in Dayton.
Nice.
And from there, he started doing, I think this was back 2007, 2006 time frame.
Uh-huh.
And so being my dad growing up, he'd bring these bots home, and I'm like, ooh,
What's your dad's name?
His name is Rory.
Rory
Corzan.
Rory Corzan. Shout out to Rory Corzan. Yep. So when you share the episode, you have to make sure your dad listens in about minute 40 to 43 and did the shout out for him. Mm-hmm. So obviously he was a player. He definitely inspired you here.
Yep.
And then where to go from there and your experiences?
Yep. So I'd watch him go out to competitions and I'd try, tag along, but just because, I was quite a bit younger, I don't know, when I was like 8, 5, I was pretty young.
It caught your attention.
Yep, it did. And so trying to get out to some of these events, it was kind of hard to because of how busy they were, and never really got to go until around 2016, I believe.
Uh-huh.
I was 12 years old. I finally got to go to my actual first competition and actually ended up driving their bot to 4th place.
Really?
So, yep.
Oh, and how old were you?
I was 12.
You're 12 and you are a bot pilot.
Yep.
Did you wait? How did you all of a sudden they needed you, or you said, "Oh, I want to be the pilot," or how did you get to that?
Well, I wanted to go, and they finally let me. And so when we were talking about like,
and through their XTREME BOTS. So tell me more now. Get that first competition, and what that make you? How did it make you feel when you actually was piloting that first win, whatever?
It's pretty nice. We were all pretty stoked about that. We had like a flipper bot, so we went up against a bot that had like a little vertical spinner.
Okay.
And so we went, I think, a good like 2 minutes before I finally flipped them over. So once we got one, and then next fight we just kept racking them up all the way till the very end.
Nice. So like scored the points.
Yep.
You didn't. So it wasn't. It didn't come to. It came to kind of a draw. Scored out. Nobody was destroyed.
So we took damage later on. We eventually had to face Centerville High School.
In the later rounds.
Yep. It was towards the finals.
And did you win or get?
All I had to do was drive a little more forward, and I would have won and gone to the finals.
And they got you.
Yep, they did get me.
Oh boy,
that was my one mistake.
Well, so if you went back in time, what was that one mistake? And obviously you learned that lesson.
Just had to drive more forward. So I had him up. I flipped him up. So he's on his back at this point. All I got to do is drive a little more forward, and he would have been on his top, and then he wouldn't have been able to driven.
Got it. Okay, so lesson learned, right?
Yep.
Sometimes, what do they say? And I owe this to recently hearing my brother say this repeatedly, and it's a great message. You either win or you learn, right? So that perseverance is everything. So now tell me about, like, where do you go to school right now, and what is your current projects?
That's definitely an interesting question there, because I'm bouncing all over the place.
Okay, so, that's good as a young life. How old are you again?
So I'm 21 right now.
Okay, you're 21. All right.
Yep. So I started out, I did 1 year at the University of Dayton for mechanical engineering, and I kind of switched halfway through to mechanical technology.
Nice.
And kind of just found out I wasn't the biggest fan of their program, so I kind of left after that, and I actually went over to Sinclair, which is pretty much down the street.
I love Sinclair.
Yep, fantastic place and people, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But with all their amazing resources out there, they got machine mills, lathes, like everywhere. They got a bunch of automotive classes. So that's what I kind of been doing the last like 2 years, just been taking a bunch of their classes, just mostly for the fun of it and just experience, because it's something I like to learn.
Right, and you're spreading your attention.
Right.
And we just had this my last guest, a couple guests ago on the recording today. Mentioned, we talked about like a horse with the things on the when they're like trotting along on it with a cart, and they put those blinders on so they don't get spooked. They're just on their mission. And one of the things that we just talked about earlier is a great nugget. I try to find nuggets on Imagine Fitting In for people of all ages, is that keep your vision open.
Yeah.
And like and I want to shout out to you as a cred, man, is that you're at an age right now that you should be bouncing around to multiple things and keep your eyes wide open, and your energy and your passion and your purpose in that moment, day to day, will keep like growing and being vibrant. That energy, when you keep on that focus and you're really like, I'm enjoying myself, I'm learning, and I'm keep myself open to the options, that the more, the best advice that I'd ever heard about what luck is, right? And how you generate good luck. So the best definition I ever heard of luck was preparation with opportunity. So you're now just busting around trying to find the niche, where the world where you want to be, and you're going to go try to go that galaxy, whatever, and you're going to go try this particular planet and explore it more. Doesn't mean you can never branch off and go to this other planet at any time. But what happens is that when you do your journey, all through that journey, no matter good or bad stumbles, right, is people will recognize you.
Yeah.
If you are truly persevering, don't give up, have that passion, put it in, prioritize, right? We're kind of between my other guests, we're kind of talking about these 3 P's: prioritize, passion, persevere, and we can add purpose. But right now in your young life, it's like, go out there, experiment, be open. Yeah. So tell me, what are you looking forward to at the moment? Is there any, now, are you competing here today?
So I'm not. I am just a volunteer mentor to a couple high schools, actually.
Nice. I want to give you a big shout out for being a mentor, right?
Yeah.
This one of my main messages about my podcast is you're never too young to mentor, and you're never too old to be mentored.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And sometimes we don't even realize, both young and old, when we're actually being mentored, and those little bits of advice you can remember them for a lifetime and help steer you. So I'm hoping that our conversation. So thank you.
Yeah.
We get to hear each other think, right?
Yep.
And we get to bounce. We get to hear ourselves say what we think and we know, and that's the beauty of a great exchange.
Yeah.
So I will just say to you a little bit of a nugget, right? Always be open to conversations, even though they could be uncomfortable, not quite on point where your head's at, but allow it to just organically be, and just take the little nuggets from it, because there's always something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the old thing that don't be too quick to judge.
Yeah.
You know, for sure, don't be too quick to judge your potential.
Yeah.
Because when you keep those blinds off your eyes and you're radiating out there, you know, you both get to see firsthand during your experiences. So now, what are you looking forward to in the near future here?
Well, I tell you one thing. I just finished my exams on Friday, so summer break. That's one thing.
Yeah. Woo, woo. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Yep. But otherwise, I mean, that's only going to last for like a week because I got work.
Where are you working?
So I'm at Triangle Precision right now.
Triangle Precision. Yep. And where's that at?
That is in the Kettering, Ohio area.
Okay. Hey, shout out to my little local area. My gym that I work out of, Absolute Fitness.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's a private gym. I mentioned this other guest. I'm an artist, but my passion is fitness.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my background comes in terms of healthy lives. I'm a balance specialist, a balance of power specialist. So I work with everybody from high-end sports athletes,
okay,
for injury prevention and trying to get back from after
gotcha, yeah,
injury.
Yeah,
is any right, and people of all ages with balance issues and structural problems. So that's kind of like, you can find me at thebalanceprofessor.com.
Yeah,
and that's me from a 30 years investment. Look at your local schools, and we're trying. The whole purpose of this competition is to promote careers in mechanical engineering, manufacturing. Obviously, we're here in Ohio,
yep.
So we do a shout out to Kettering, Ohio, and Triangle Precision.
Yep.
All right, and what do you do there?
So I kind of bounce around a little bit, just because different departments.
Yep.
Keeping options open and just learning from other people. But mostly, what I do is I'll run CNC machines.
Okay.
Most specifically, milling. I can do some small kind of like lathe stuff on like a manual lathe. But I will, depending on what department I'm in. If I'm in the model area, I might get into some bending stuff as well. But I'll do like some small like runoff parts, maybe like 10, 20 quantities.
What kind of parts and for what kind of machinery for that? What are you working on?
So we do a lot of like aerospace, so like military stuff.
Nice.
So there's a lot of materials that do a lot is stainless and aluminum. Those are probably like the two most common that I do.
Yeah.
And it just depends on the job, but I'll figure out how to hold this part, set it up, program it, and I'll run it over there. Where over if I'm in their more CNC area, which is kind of more the production side of things, like most of the programs are already done, and it's just kind of like you're more of an operator over there.
Nice. You want to do a shout out to a mentor over there that's who's been helping? Yeah, or you got multiples?
Ooh, man, they've been absolutely fantastic.
You don't want to forget anybody, or do you have a handful of names? First and last names at all?
Everyone's just fantastic over there.
So let's do a shout out to Triangle Precision.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Kettering. Who are your mentors right now?
One of the biggest people that I hang out a good amount with is his name is Chris Vorwerk. I can't really say his last name the best. Right. It's something along the lines of that.
Okay,
but he's been fantastic to me. Absolutely amazing.
Wonderful. And who else? Anybody else that's been contributing to your success right now? You're learning.
Yeah, absolutely. We got there is Bill Boyd. We got let's see here. Who else here? We got Mike. Let's see here. Ken. Those are all people in the model department. And there's some other people in the CNC area. His name's Todd. I don't know his last name. But Todd. Let's see. Brian Holzinger. He's the owner. I mean, he's just been absolutely amazing to work with.
Shout out to Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, he gives me a good amount of hope. So
there you go.
Yeah, every time I talk with him, it's just like everything just kind of feels soothing talking to him.
Yeah, man.
So because a lot of the coolants there, I kind of react with the coolants a little bit, and so there's been a whole struggle kind of with that. And so when I go to talk to them, it's always kind of like a soothing, kind of just like nice to work things out with them.
Man, that's a great nugget, man. That's great that you thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And that I'm sure they're gonna appreciate hearing that. Yeah. And I commend you on your efforts. You seem like a motivated, interested to just keep pressing on and having these experiences. And, I'm sure you're going to do great, man.
Yeah.
Great things. It sounds like you're just really on a great track. So thank you for sharing today. Is there anything, what would you say like right now when you, I don't know, what age were you? Two things. What age were you when you kind of like understood like, ooh, this is kind of an area that really fascinates me? And then what would you give young people advice that have the same kinds of feelings?
In terms of, we'll say like manufacturing.
Yeah. When was it that you like made a little realization? Were you young or how old were you?
Probably, so this would have been 2017, 2018.
Okay.
I was, let me think about this. Maybe freshman in high school or eighth grade, something like that. There were two tool makers from Dayton Progress that eventually made their way to my dad's club, and that's one of the biggest mentors I have. I mean, they've been fantastic.
Wow.
But
shout out
finally,
to Dayton Progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally actually kind of learning, we first started, you do your own thing and you try things out, but when you actually start actually learning, like from actually people who have 40 years of experience in the field, I mean, it's the point where it's like, that's life-changing
right.
So that's one of the things that, I mean, students nowadays volunteering at high schools, I mean, you got to stay open-minded.
Yes.
That's one of the things it's pretty difficult trying to get students into it and open-minded.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty big.
And how about obviously the cooperative programs, right? The co-op programs and the work study opportunities.
Yeah, and they definitely have options there.
Right.
It's whether or not, they're willing to do it or not.
Exactly. There's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Caden, thank you so much for spending time with us here on Magic Fitting In.
Yeah.
And, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah.
And I know you're off to great things. All right?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Take care.
Thank you.
Till next time. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Professor.
There's so much damage in there, starting to wear down the structural duct tape. pins over there. All right, drum rolls, entering the arena.